Connections. Extra connections.
That's right.
Connections. Extra connections. Connections.
From
Extra
home.
connections. Connections. Extra
The
connections.
theme song.
Connections. Extra connections.
Hi, I'm James Lott Jr.
Connections.
And this is Extra Connections Special.
Connections.
From home.
Connections.
That's right, kids.
Connections.
Here we go. That's right. So I'm doing Extra Connection specials right now because right now we're at home for the safer at home because of the coronavirus outbreak, and so I'm trying to practice being safe. So I'm not having an actual Extra Connection show right now, but I've been doing a few specials, and this is one today with my friend Josh Rodriguez. So we're going to stop talking now. We can have my conversation, and everybody, please stay safe out there. Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Extra Connections Special. I'm James Lott Jr., your host, and my show Extra Connections is on hiatus at the moment with the after party because they're not in studio. And this person was actually going to be a guest on my show. We booked it and everything to be on my show this month. I said, we're not waiting until the end of time. We're going to bring him on this. So I'm doing specials connected with people, and that's what we're doing. And I have a big connection with him. So let me tell you what Homeboy does, because he's like doing several things, and I got to figure out what exactly the F he's doing. So I met him through AfterBuzz TV years ago. That's how we met. We bonded over several things we'll talk about. Big sports guy. He's a host and analyst. He's a producer for Uninterrupted. He has The Dime with Josh Rodriguez. He's bringing back, I guess, New Pod on the Block with his friend returning this year. Of course, he's always with the whole Straight Talk with Ross Matthews. And who else knows what else he does. So we're going to figure it all out today. My friend, my brother in arms, Josh Rodriguez.
James, thank you for having me on. And might I add, I hope that you're playing the song before this, the Extra Connections theme song, because when I first checked it out, I loved it. It was like Barry White mixed with EDM, and it was the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. I was laughing, but I was applauding at the same time. It was absolutely phenomenal. So I'm picturing the Extra Connections.
Extra Connections. Yeah, exactly.
Extra Connections. I love it. I love it. No, I'm really happy to be on because you and I, we formed a friendship at AfterBuzz TV, and we've talked about collaborating, and this is the first time we're doing it, and I'm just like really excited to talk to you.
Yeah, same here, and that's very sweet you say. And folks, if you don't know, I do music, I do spoken word, I do a lot of stuff. So people laugh because my show, I did the theme song, I did the promo. I produced the show. I'm a one-man band. You know that, Josh. I'm a one-man band.
Extra Connections. I love it. I love it. It's like someone took Barry White from the grave and had him do EDM. It's James Lott Jr. That's exactly what it is. I love it. Never stop. Ever.
Almost spit take, Mike. Not do that. Like, first of all, I'd like to ask everybody when they come on, first of all, how are you doing, Josh, during this whole strange time period?
It's weird, man. I mean, I've become more of an introvert as I've gotten older, but I still like going out. I still like playing basketball, being outside, things like that. So I've been going a little crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Because you haven't played basketball in a while, obviously.
Oh, my goodness. It's driving me a little crazy, but I think I'm doing okay. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm doing all right.
Oh, we're fine. I like your thing in the background. It's LA in the background. I love it.
Yeah.
Really cool piece there. I like that. So folks, we met during AfterBuzz TV and about 3 years ago, right? About 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we instantly connected. And it's funny because I met you. I don't want to bring everything down, but I just want to just in context that I met you after my brother died, and it was a big thing. And you had a brother who died also. Yeah. They both were gay. We had this whole thing. We kind of bonded, both Puerto Rican, both from New York, all this stuff. So we bonded over all of that. Was the basis of it. And then we found you were a nice guy. I'm a nice person, and we kind of bonded over that. I remember that. Like that.
Yeah, that was actually really nice because, moving out to California, I didn't know anybody. And you were one of the first people I've actually felt a genuine connection with. And, even to this day, it's been 4 years since I've been here, and I've had a hard time connecting with people. And I don't know if it's because I'm from the East Coast. I don't know if it's because it's the industry that we're in. But I remember when your brother passed and I reached out to you and we had a little conversation, like I found out that you and I have a lot in common. And not only have a lot in common, we see the world the same and we get along. So it was nice to know you, and I know that you and I don't really meet up outside of the studio when we see each other, but, I know the love's always there and the support's always there, and it's good to have people like that.
Yes, and I know it's tough out here. I mean, the East
Yeah.
Coast. I've had people on the show that are from the East Coast. We know it's very different.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's a very different mindset. People walk through life differently from the East Coast. I think it's
Yep.
possibly maybe the weather, maybe it's the landscape. I mean, especially New York, especially. It's just a very I love New York's my magic city, first of all. But it's just kind of like it's a whole different way you carry yourself in New York, right?
Completely different. I mean, I'm still adjusting. Like I said, it's 4 years in, and I still feel like a fish out of water sometimes. But I am getting used to Los Angeles, and I don't know. It's definitely different.
Well, I mean,
It's definitely different.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
do you? I mean, so what do you miss about New York? Tell me what you miss about New York.
The people there, they'll tell you exactly how they feel, what they expect of you, and I have no problem telling me like I don't like you, or you're just not the type of person we're looking for this role, or like, you know what, just be honest with me. Just be straightforward and honest with me. Like, don't ghost me. Don't stop responding to text messages. If you don't want to work with me, just be like, yeah, and just say it, and I'll be fine. Like, I am perfectly fine with that. Trust me, I'm okay with that. But out here, what we do, and James, I'm sure you have a show called Extra Connections. It's about connecting. You have to make connections. You have to network. So, which means you have to put yourself out there. And I feel a lot of Los Angeles is basically you putting yourself out there and then never knowing where you're standing with anybody. And it's really frustrating.
That's true. Very true. I think back to my abuelita. She used to always, I come back to visit, be like, "Wow, James, you gained some weight. Now here's all the food I made for you. You like?" You're like, "But you just called me fat, and or else I get in trouble. You know how it is, or else I get in trouble." But it's like she loves me, and she
Right.
love into the food because she knows I don't get it very often. There's certainly ain't no Puerto Rican stuff out here in Los Angeles.
Nothing. There's nothing.
Nothing. So to go home, I know that the love was put in. I know she loved me to pieces. She passed away 2 years ago too, so I lost her also. But she was somebody who loved me, but at the same time tells you what's on their brain. They just
Right.
Puerto Rican families, West Indian families, they just tell you what they feel.
Yeah, and we take that as love.
Yeah.
That we take that as a sign of appreciation, love, and honesty is huge for me. So I miss it. I definitely do. And when I meet someone like you, I mean, you feel it right away. You feel that connection right away, and you definitely want to have you in my life.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like you said, we were going to plan to get together because now I know you live closer in the city,
Mhm.
and we're planning. We had stuff. We were actually planning. So we were reconnecting for in person, and then the virus hit, and that's literally
Yep.
stopped everything. I was actually reconnecting with a lot of people. All of a sudden, I had a lot of lunches set up and things, and then all of a sudden, it was like, nope, you're staying home. You're not doing that.
I was looking forward to going into the studio. I don't. It looks really, really fun. I saw what you did with Marissa. That was fun.
We're gonna do that.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
You know what's funny? So when I had the Bell's palsy and I came back, the first day back, you were there. It was so weird.
That's right. And you know what's funny? Like that was the first time I was at AfterBuzz in like 8 months, and I was only there for like 5 minutes. I had to give something to Steven. That was it. That was the only. I had no other reason to go to AfterBuzz. It was almost like the world brought us together. It was nice.
That was my first day after a year of being out.
I remember that.
I was so nervous doing my first show after a year because I hadn't done anything. And I remember being nervous just leaving my house coming to AfterBuzz. And I never get nervous. I realized I've done over 800 shows at AfterBuzz or something like that over the years. So I'm like, I don't get nervous. I've done it before. But that I remember I was really nervous. So seeing familiar faces did help kind of go, okay, I'm good.
That might have been the last time I was at AfterBuzz. Thinking about it. Yeah, I haven't been at AfterBuzz in a long time. Like a really long time.
What shows did you? I couldn't tell you what you did there. What'd you do there?
So at AfterBuzz, I started off as a host. I really didn't do many shows. I did the Rush Hour After Show, which was a show that lasted one season, and then I did a show called Coupled, which was like a Bachelor ripoff.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to do some type of AfterBuzz sports type programming, and I was one of the hosts who was pushing for sports. And at the time, I was also hired by AfterBuzz as an engineer.
Yeah.
So I came in as a host, and then like 6 months later, they needed an engineer, and I had a background in engineering, so they hired me as an engineer. And I was kind of trying to lead the forefront in AfterBuzz sports and set up some sports programming. So I did like NBA playoff stuff, any like NBA documentary that was on ESPN, so things like that. I didn't really do too many shows, but I did host there.
I couldn't remember. I know you're a host. I was like, I don't think you shows.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember at all there. So I want to go into your sports side because that's something that you're very passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
You play basketball and stuff. And so who is your team?
Knicks. New York, baby.
As I figured. Hey, so yeah, so tell folks, we talk about New York. It's all the boroughs and everything.
Right.
Tell the borough you're from.
From the Bronx, the BX, the birthplace of hip hop, home of the Yankees, son. What up off the Deegan? Let's go. Nah, saying. Nah, I'm saying. Put the hood over my head. Nah, saying.
That's right. Now I'm saying that. Actually, this is the birthplace of hip hop. It sure is.
It is.
It is. No, my family's from the BK. They're also from Spanish Harlem. So about half and half.
That's where my dad's from. Spanish Harlem.
My mother is from 101st Lexington. East 101st Lexington. So
100 and what?
101st.
100. I think my dad was 116. I'm not familiar, but
over there. Yeah,
maybe they knew each other. Oh.
I would not even be surprised.
It would not surprise me.
Not even be surprised or whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I went there recently, not too long ago, and it's changed a lot over there. Lexington Avenue changed, Third Avenue, it's all.
That's what my dad said. We went there one time, and he's like, "This didn't exist. This didn't exist. This didn't exist. That's where Malcolm X died. This didn't exist." I was gee.
Because I found my mother's.
Yeah.
Because I took her on a FaceTime tour when I was there. I found her junior high school and her elementary school, but her high school isn't there anymore. And her tenement, they were called tenements back then, was gone. It was a park now. So where she grew up is now a park. I was like,
oh my goodness.
It's so strange. The park.
That is strange. That would make me sad. Like if I went to my childhood home and it was like a swing set. Come on. Really?
Merry-go-round.
Yeah.
It was weird for her. I think it was weird for her. I think she was like, oh. And I was like, wasn't your house right here? She goes, it was. And I was like, look, mommy, it's gone. It's just like, that's kind of strange.
That is strange.
And I remember back in the day, the two didn't really talk that much. It's like, if you're in Manhattan, you didn't go to Brooklyn. And I was like, there's a whole separate thing. So I used to go visit my half family over here and the other half family over there. I go like a week here and a week there. I go for like 2 weeks at a time, and I'd just be at both. And I'll never forget, just a little side note, folks, you just brought this up. And I haven't thought about this in like 30 years, 40 years. My first time to New York was in 1983 or 84. And I was like 15. I was with my grandfather on West 57th in Manhattan. And I saw my first in-person breakdancers with the cardboard.
Yes.
And they were breakdancing.
Yes.
They hadn't hit LA yet. LA had pop lock, and we were all like doing this stuff. But they weren't doing the breakdancing yet. I remember seeing it on TV and seeing it in person and just like to my grandpa Bob, 1 second. And he was like, that's that crazy stuff. They're going to break dance. He's probably my age now then, who knows? I'm like an old man. And I just remember seeing that because New York, people forget New York really was the place that rap started and was really big. Like all those you heard who came, Run DMC, all them, Curtis Blow, everybody came from there. Then it kind of came to LA and other places, but it was all New York.
Yeah, the Bronx specifically too.
Yeah, Bronx specifically. I remember going to record stores there. Remember record stores?
Yes, I do. I'm old enough to remember that.
I miss them. We have amoeba out here, but I miss them sometimes. And I remember going to record stores, and I brought back a bunch of 12 inches, or 12 inches. And my friend's like, "What's that? Africa, Mama, Planet Rock. What's that?" I'm like, "I got some stuff from New York. Come to me." And I was the forefront of all that stuff. That's
interesting. So LA had no clue. They didn't really know much about hip hop.
We had freestyle. We had other things. We were busy. It hadn't gotten here. It wasn't until maybe 86, 87 it started to really hit.
Interesting.
E-boys, and so they started doing the breakdancing. Pop locking was big here. My friend, of course, Shabdu Quinones, they started that whole thing. And but it wasn't. But rap, there was no big rappers out of LA yet. That happened until Nick almost said the word NWA. I almost said it.
Right. You didn't though. Yeah.
I don't want to make this a podcast.
There is an explicit option that you can press when you post. In case of an emergency, just click that and you're fine.
Yes. But NWA, that's how, him and them and Ice-T were the first ones that finally kind of.
So they were the forefathers of West Coast rap.
They were.
Okay.
And see, I knew Alonzo Williams, a friend of mine, who started World Class Wrecking Crew. And see, back in the mid '80s, it was all about that kind of techno music with some weird special effects and kind of rap in it. We had Egyptian Lover, we had Egypt. We had Nucleus Jam on it. I mean, it was kind of like they were all kind of novelty-esque things.
Right.
Then we had LA Dream Team. That still was towards the late '80s. It was like the Dreams in the LA Dream Team. It was more dancey. It was all dance stuff. So I used to go to Uncle Jam's Army, which would put on these big productions, and it was all these kind of. And I remember seeing a curly-haired Dr. Dre playing love music. I mean, that's what he
Wow.
did. That's what I met up when I got Alonzo Williams on my show 30 years later. It was a big full circle moment for me. It's like, oh my God, I watched you when I was a teenager. And then I moved to Sacramento in '87, and that's when I saw MC Hammer and Atomic Social Club. And there was a little brewing. It was like Too Short, E40. They're all
Yes, all the
daughters.
Bay Area
Yeah, Bay
artists.
Area. They're starting to
Yeah.
kind of. There was Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose. They were starting to kind of germinate.
Yeah,
But it wasn't big. In LA, it was all about new wave and
interesting.
go-go's and missing persons and Berlin. It was all about that kind of music. And then the hair bands. It was all about the hair bands.
Yeah.
Hair bands. So when I went to New York every summer or every year, it was usually like get that music and bring it home and say, "Oh, you didn't hear the new song by so." And I would tell them who these people are. And they're like, "Who's Boogie Down Productions? Who's this? Who's that?" They didn't know what they were.
Right.
I involved them because I was heavily into music, heavily.
Interesting. Yeah, I knew that Bronx was the birthplace and New York had started there, but I didn't know how he evolved. So that was interesting. That was a nice history lesson.
Thank you.
Learn
And there's
something
great
every day.
documentaries actually. There's great documentaries
Yeah.
on Netflix about that, so it's really good.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's some good ones. But I was there for all of it, so I loved it. But sports is your thing, and I want to actually talk about the Dime with Josh Rodriguez. So
Yes.
what is that exactly?
So the Dime is my NBA podcast. It's specifically dedicated to the National Basketball Association, and every week I have a new guest, and we just talk about the latest headlines that are going on in the NBA or about their specific team, favorite team. And it's just a generic. I don't want to use the word generic because it sounds boring, but it is what it is. I talk NBA basketball and the headlines that come across NBA basketball. I have different segments to keep it fun. But yeah, I've grown a little bit of an audience, which is cool, especially overseas, which I found interesting. I don't know if you have that as well.
I do.
Where it's like, wow, people in Australia listen to
That's
me.
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. My analytics, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I'm big in
Like my podcast.
and I'm big in like,
yeah.
Okay, sure, okay.
My podcast was like number 79 in the Australia like sports charts one week, and I was like, okay,
Sure.
I'll take it. I will take it.
I think Australia.
But, yeah. So, I mean, that's what it is. Just talking NBA basketball with different guests and their perspectives. And, depending on what team they root for, you get a different perspective, and it's just fun.
How is it now there's no basketball?
Oh, my goodness. It's driving me crazy. So I'm doing this thing called the State Your Case series where I literally, I take things overboard. And I know, you don't know me too much as a host, but I'm very over the top. And
I've
very
seen your stuff.
yeah, you studied. You studied.
Get into it.
So I'm doing a series where there were maybe 8 to 10 teams who could have won the championship. So I'm having fans of each team come onto my podcast and quote unquote state their case, but in the form of a court TV show. So I have the music going in the background and they're defendants and I'm the judge. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I also just developed a Twitch channel where I just kind of want to have basketball conversations with my friends. That's separate. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. I love it.
Oh, thanks, James.
I love it. Good for you.
Yeah.
Your Twitch channel. Okay, yes.
Yeah. And my friends are all about it right now because they're not doing anything, and we all want to talk to each other and see each other's faces. So, and basketball is a hobby of ours that we share in common. So it's gonna hopefully it's gonna go good. We'll see.
But it just must be weird because for me, I'm a football fan. My football season ended. I looked out before the virus happened. It all ended.
Right.
So, and our season's always short. I know they're short, but I am missing there's no draft happening right now. I'm missing that part. But for you guys, basketball is a long season. I mean,
yeah, and we were at the end of it. The playoffs were about to start, so it sucks because we were looking forward to the playoffs. It's the most exciting time of the year for a basketball fan, and all of a sudden it's cut short, and we don't even know if we're gonna get it.
What do you think? I'm gonna ask you. What do you think if we? I don't think we're just everybody, you're free now. I think it's gonna be a rollout of this is okay and this is okay.
Yes.
When it comes to sports and basketball, do you think they'll pick up where they left off and do the playoffs, or do you think they'll just start over?
It depends on, when we're allowed to see each other, when we're allowed to, end this isolation. Because if this goes into August or September, they're going to cancel the season. I think they're going to have a July deadline, maybe July-ish, late June. And then maybe cut the regular season short to save some time because they still have 10 to 15 games left in the regular season. Start the playoffs immediately, maybe cut the first round in half and just try to get it over with as soon as possible because they're supposed to start their season late October, early November. You can't really expect these players to finish a season in September and then in a month turn it around and start a new season.
that'd be too tough. That's what a trip. What a trip
Yeah.
this outbreak has done to every schedule.
It's
That's
crazy.
so strange. But you sports people, especially, it's just like, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's very good. Now you are a producer of a show called Uninterrupted. What's that?
Well, Uninterrupted is a sports media company. That's LeBron James's company. So it's all athletes. They have I produce a show called Certified Buckets, which is a podcast that's exclusively on Spotify. And it's with Nick Young, who used to be on the Lakers and Clippers, Chineo Bumake, who actually plays in the WNBA, and Sharodis Jackson, who's Dro on Insecure on HBO.
Oh yeah,
And they have, so they have a podcast together. I produce it. And Uninterrupted it's a cool company. We do a lot of things with athletes. We create playlists for Pandora. That's another thing I'm part of, where athletes pick their favorite songs. I don't know if you ever seen The Shop with LeBron James. It's on HBO, but it's him and 5 other athletes. They get together and they talk. That's Uninterrupted. That's produced by my company that I work for.
Oh my
God,
that's Josh Rodriguez. I think you're gonna surpass James Lott Jr. You're gonna be
not yet. I got a long way to go. Got a long way to go, baby.
I'll be following you, cheese and crackers. We like me. We find our niche and go into it. I mean, then you find the opportunities. That's the whole point. It's like all your stuff matches up. Everything you're doing matches. It's part of your branding. It matches up. Very smart.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very smart. But so how'd you get involved with that? I mean, how did that come into your orbit?
I just got lucky. LinkedIn. The guy saw my profile on LinkedIn. He connected with me.
I say it all the time.
He asked me to be a connection. He didn't message me.
Okay.
And as soon as I saw where he worked, I accepted within a half a second. And then I messaged him and I said, "Hey, what's up?" Something like, "I'm Josh Rodriguez. I'm a host. If you're looking for a host, you guys have reached out to me before," because they have. I was up for a podcast that Uninterrupted was doing. They were doing a music/basketball show, and I'm a music producer, and it fit me perfectly. They ended up not picking me, but I was on their radar. So I let him know that I was on your radar. I can do this. I can do that. Let me know if you need help. And he hit me back. He said, "Actually, we're looking for a producer. Would you want to do that?" And I said, "Yeah." Got an interview, phone call interview the next day. And I guess they liked me enough to hire me.
What makes you a good producer?
Being creative is definitely it, but also knowing your talent. If you're producing for other talent, you have to know their strengths. You have to know their weaknesses. You have to know what they want to do, because you can come up with the most creative segment in the world, but if they don't want to do what you're suggesting, it's not going to work. So you have to know each personality of whoever you're producing. You have to be creative, think outside the box, listen, communicate. Communication's big as well. And honestly, that's pretty much it on my end, at least. And a lot of people, they have ideas in their head, and if it's not their idea, they kind of, shy away from it and micromanage to the point where it's like, okay, they make a show that's their idea, but then they compromise the product. And I'm not really about that. I'm more about collaboration and making sure that the hosts are happy. And I think if the hosts are happy, you're going to actually have a good show anyway.
I agree with you. I feel the same way as a producer, and I produce other things too. I'm always like, I want you to look good. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to do a great job. That's the goal. So if you have an idea, let's talk about it, and maybe you can make it work. If I have an idea and you think it's good, then let's try it out. It's like you read the room. You read the
room,
stay present, and you really pay attention to who you're working with and going, she's really good at that. He's really funny at that. Like I said, then you start to try to make that the focus.
Right. And then when there's like a rut, it is on you to get out of that rut and to find something creative. Like there are times where you do single-handedly have to be like, okay, we're doing this, but it's also reading the room. So it's just being aware, having awareness. I think that's a good word to use.
I like that. I agree with that. And then, we're not done yet with what he does.
Oh, no.
No, not done yet. Now, you're bringing back this. I love the title, of course. This new pod on the block with Mike Zacchio, his name is? Or something?
Yes, you got it right. Zacchio.
Got it right.
Nice.
Zacchio. And so you did it last year or something. So now it's a boy band theme podcast?
Yeah, it's a boy band theme podcast. So Mike Zacchio is a friend of mine. I think I met him when I was in 3rd grade. So I've known him my whole life. And he and I were just two guys who grew up unabashedly just loving NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and all that music. And we would dance. We made our own boy band called the Chip Chunks. I don't know why it was called the Chip Chunks.
The Chip Chunks?
When you're 11 years old.
Okay, you're 11. Okay.
It's whatever. So yeah, Mike to me is like, he's also very outgoing. He is big on TikTok right now. So shout out to him. I know you're on TikTok too, by the way.
I'm big on TikTok right now too.
I know we got to talk about that.
I know it's crazy. I don't
We got
understand.
to talk about that.
Yes, we will.
But Mike, one day I put on my Instagram story. I just put one of the songs I was listening to. It was a boy band song called "When the Lights Go Out" by Five. Mike responded to it, and I was like, we should do a podcast about this. This would be huge. And at the time, I was producing Straight Talk with Ross Matthews. Ross gives me a segment at the end of each episode, and I brought it up. I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. What do you guys think? And I had a bunch of straight talkers in my DM saying, totally go for it. And I went for it. So,
Well, it's funny because
Yeah.
boy bands are very interesting. Boy bands, girl band, whatever, they're very interesting. And they were a major machine at one point, obviously.
oh my goodness.
Very
Yeah.
huge. I mean, and for me growing up in the 70s, the closest thing we had heartthrobs. They were by themselves. They were not really groups. And then the Village People came out. I call them the original Spice Girls. No.
Wow. That's funny.
Isn't that funny? And
Yeah.
they were so huge. You weren't even born. You weren't even thought of yet when they were big. But like YMCA and the Navy, Macho Man. I mean, these
I know the songs. I know the songs. Yeah. I am in the Navy.
The Navy, exactly. Go West. I mean, they were huge, and they had like different characters. So that was the closest we had then. It wasn't until then I guess possibly Duran Duran in the '80s was kind of a boy band, kind of, but not really. But it wasn't until New Kids on the Block and New Edition. Those two came out,
Right.
and it was like these are specifically generated for girls to want to love them and guys to want to be them.
Yes.
And then it became this machine, and you know, we have from O Town to my group Take That.
Yep.
You said Five East. I think it was East 17. There's always bands from Europe and America. They were so big, and then of course NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and 98 Degrees and All for One. And
Yep.
I'm friends with some of them actually now. It's kind of weird.
Are you? That's funny.
I know Delius Kennedy from All for One. I'm just friends. I mean, there's certain ones I'm friends with because of the weird. I don't know.
That's random, but I love it. Yeah. So yeah, we decided just to make a podcast on boy band culture. We did 8 episodes on the first season. And I guess now would be a perfect time to make a second season, considering the circumstances. We didn't want to record online through Zoom or Skype when we first started out. That was just kind of a commitment we made to each other, just because in person, I mean, I'm sure you know this, when you host in person and you have a co-host in person, it's completely different.
I love it. I love it.
It's the vibe is different, and we wanted to keep that vibe. But we haven't posted an episode in a really long time, and I think now would be the perfect time for he and I to bang out some episodes and deliver a second season.
Yeah, do a few. If you don't want to do a bunch, do a few and see what happens. See how long this is going to take. Do a couple of them and get them out there. I mean, I think it's a great idea. So
Thank you.
I like my boy bands. I do. I like them. I don't care. I like them. And my Spice Girls. As I mentioned, I like my Spice Girls.
Yeah, we're gonna have a girl band episode dedicated to all the girl groups that came from that
I
era
want
as
to be
well.
on
So.
special guests.
Okay, make it happen.
Talk about SWV. Talk about Danny Kane.
Yes.
I love all that stuff. Trust me. Trust and believe. I love all
I do
that
too.
stuff.
I do too.
It's kind of fun. So that's very cool. Now you mentioned Straight Talk with Ross Matthews, and you love Ross. I know Ross personally also. I'm a big fan, and one of the things that really, and because I know you off camera. One of the things I thought was very cool about you're an ally for the LGBTQ.
Oh my God, yeah.
Community. You are completely. You're very, very comfortable in your sexuality. Mainly you got an older brother, of course. So I want to talk about that a little bit because you were part of the whole Ross Matthews branding for a while.
Yeah.
What were some of the reactions to you, being that you're the kind of the straighty of the group?
I've gotten nothing but love. I've gotten nothing but love from the straight talkers, and I didn't really reveal to them why. I wouldn't say why I'm an ally. I think I'm an ally just because that's why wouldn't I be an ally?
Exactly.
But I didn't tell him the story about my brother until later on. But my brother did have a huge role in why I think the way I think and how I am today. I mean, I call him my cheat code because I think he was my cheat code throughout life. I mean, not just LGBTQ.
Just in general.
Yeah, I mean, he was half black as well. Like, so I grew up with a half black gay brother.
Yes, you did.
It was like a double whammy of like suppression. So
I understand. Trust me.
So and I can see the way he was treated differently for different types of reasons as a young person. I was able to kind of adopt a mindset of empathy because of him, and to be a part of the LGBT community is a big deal to me. That is something that I always want to be a part of. I mean, right now I don't produce for Ross Matthews at all, but I would love to at some point get back to that show, or even just like in some sort of way another show or another personality in his podcast or her podcast. But they pretty much accepted me for who I was, straight. They didn't really care. I got some followers there. I never got anyone in my DM saying anything hateful about me.
Good.
And, nothing but love. I love the Straight Talkers. I really, really love the Straight Talkers. They're a good group of people.
Well, I think because you're a respectful person. I mean, your persona
Yeah.
out there, you don't do anything crazy. You're not shit talking or anything crazy.
Yeah.
I think we can tell an authentic person. We can tell when someone's talking at us as opposed to talking with us.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to bring up my brother in the beginning, because I didn't want to seem like I was pandering to them, if that makes any sense. I even forgot how I brought it up during the first time I brought it up. But, I want everyone to know that I am a huge ally. And not just like an ally, like not, I just support it. Like, no, like I will fucking kill people for
I know you're not.
pretty cool, right? Like I will, and I'm a person, I march and protest. I do things like that. I donate. Like I'm an activist as well. And it's something, down the road, when I become more financially stable or I'm able to do so, I definitely want to do fundraising and events and things like that and stay connected to the community, because that's a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
You
it makes you more well-rounded.
Yeah.
Makes you more well-rounded. I mean, that's what I like about you. It's like your worldview is broadened, not just this little narrow. Like you can't be a sports guy and a straight guy and also support gay issues. Like why not? Like why is there?
Yeah.
Why do you have to cheat?
And be vocal about it too.
Yeah.
Because there's things I post. The fantasy football community. I don't want to like dog it, but it's very, I wouldn't say misogynistic, but it's very bro. It's like bro.
It is.
So when I used to host for fantasy football shows, and I remember some people, I had a couple people in my DMs like, "Are you gay?" Like not in a disrespectful way, but like they were just curious because I'm so like open with how I feel about those issues, and it doesn't bother me that people think that, but that's just for anyone who doesn't know me, like to gain a perspective. Like I am very open with how I feel about certain issues, and the LGBT community is very close to my heart.
Yeah, I know it is. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, so how do you deal with sports? I mean, because my communities are like the soaps and the Hallmark Channel people, and you think they're all cutesy and cute. I've gotten death threats. I've gotten
death threats.
Oh yeah, because I didn't like a certain couple on the soap opera.
Stop it.
Oh, dead serious.
For When Calls the Heart, is that what it's called? What?
When Calls the Heart, or Days Are Our Lives. It was
Stop it.
People, most of them are very nice.
People are popping caps over all my children. Are you serious? What?
Okay, so let me tell you a quick story. So recently, there's this person who's attacking all of us soap press, who's sending us emails. I mean, we don't. They have like two names. Like they have one name and they have another name listed. It's really weird. And they're sending all that. We're passing it in our private DMs about this guy saying that I know where you live. I'm gonna find you. You're ruining the soaps. You're ruining the ratings because you don't like so.
Are you kidding me?
No.
So how do you deal with that? Tell me how you deal with that.
Well, the first one I got a little nervous. Of course, the first one I'm like, oh my God. But I know that I don't have my address on anything. I don't. When I do posts and videos, I do videos all the time. I don't show my numbers or anything. But here's the thing: if somebody wants to find you, they can find you. I mean, that's just kind of. I look at it this way: it's like they have enough time in their hands, they can find you. That's fine. Like, come get me. I'm ready. But no, for the most part, I just kind of not that I laugh it off, but I take it with a grain of salt. I know a lot of people are just behind their screens. They say stuff like that because they want to scare you into whatever feeling they want you to feel. And I think of it this way. They have a right to think whatever they want. You have a right to be upset. You don't think I said something you didn't like, that's fine. But I find it ridiculous that over a soap character that you're going to say, I wish your family was dead. I wish your daughter gets hit by a car.
Unbelievable.
I remember Marissa and I, Marissa Serafini, who you know, she and I got attacked at one point because a character decided, the guy decided to leave the show. He leave the show, he decided to leave. It was his choice, he left. And that they were like, you guys must have known something, and you guys aren't really Hardys, and you guys, like, we don't know shit. I'm like, I don't look on my channel.
What, they think you produce the show? They think you have a say in what goes on?
Let me sip my tea.
Oh my goodness. Listen, to be fair, you are very influential in the Hardys community. I used to engineer your show every once in a while. I don't know if you remember that. So every once in a while, I was your engineer. I know the live chat's going. I see
King of
it.
the Hardys. They come to King of the Hardys.
Yeah. So you and Marissa did have a voice, and you still probably do have a voice. I saw you and Marissa actually. You did something the other day with each other,
Yes,
which
we
made me
brought
happy.
it back. We brought it back
Yeah.
on my own channel.
Good.
So not Buzz anymore. So it's on my channel, and we're getting huge views. They're all excited again. They love us as a duo. You know, it is.
Awesome.
I know, and that's the thing. Marissa, and I wrote 2 books to the Hardys, and they sold really well. So I mean, I know how important the Hardys are. I know. On a light day, I wrote 2 books.
Awesome.
And I put them out, and they sold really well. And Hallmark Channel, Crown Media knows me and Marissa, and you know we're invited to things, and we get special.
That's amazing.
It's an industry that we got our hands in, but it's the fandom. That's so bizarre. That's what I was going to ask you about the sports fandom. Do you ever get any? I guess you don't get what we get sometimes. You don't get any of that kind of craziness, like you like that team, or you like, you know.
I've gotten craziness. It's a lot of it's from high schoolers, to be completely honest with you. So I hosted this show called Man vs. Madden on YouTube on the Total Pro Sports Network, and that's a big network. Like they have almost 1 million subscribers on that channel. And I was a new host, and you know how it is when you're a new host. I'm pretty sure you've had experiences. When you're new, it does not matter how good of a host you are, how likable you are. You're going to people are just going to hate you, especially if you get into a long running series. You know, it's like replacing Arnold and Hey Arnold after 5 seasons. Like you're just going to be hated. Yeah. So I got a lot of people in the comment section just commenting and roasting me and saying how much I suck, blah, blah, blah. And then I had a few DMs like, you know, you should quit, blah, blah, blah. But then you realize like this is a high schooler who's not even showing his real face. He's hiding behind an avatar of a sports player. And like, you know, the way I dealt with it was like, this kid is 14 years old. I'm not going to get mad at what a 14-year-old says.
Right, exactly.
And then after a while, I use it as motivation to turn them and, you know, have them like me. And then by the end of it, they liked me. So
no, that happens too. I have turned some people that have, at first I didn't care for you that much, but now I agree. I'm like, the point is, and anything that we do, we create content. That's what our job. When you put it out there, no matter what it is, it's going to be judged. Yeah. Once I learned that, once I accepted that, it made it easier for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary sometimes to put out a new song or a new album. You know how that is too. I put out songs, albums, books, TV shows. You're a little nervous at first, but it's like, sure, when people release something, I judge it. So I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I care, and oh my God. And that song sounds horrible, and the beats and the voice. So I do the same thing. I'm not as mean as some people. I do it in my own home. But I just know that whatever you put out is going to be judged. It's okay. They have a right to feel however they feel. They have their own lens when it comes to anything that you're doing. They say well, they see things. So it's fine. And it's okay. And I don't mind healthy discourse. That doesn't bother me. Tell me your side of the story. Try to convince me something. I have no problem with that. There are times when I learn stuff. But it's just the screaming and my way or the highway, and that's it, and you suck. Wow, James. Your teeth are fucked up. Wow, James, you're fat. You know what? They go for. I had this great thing from Margaret Cho, a great comedian.
Oh, I like Margaret.
I love Margaret. She said what got her through that was they're still watching you and listening to you. That's number one, right?
Right.
But secondly, it's easy to go for the cheap shots and just say you suck. That's an easy thing. Well, tell me why I suck. A lot of times they can't. They just say you suck, or sorry man, blah blah. Or they go for the body and face and, oh, you're black or you're this. I'm like, yeah, I'm black. Yeah, I'm big. You know, whatever. I mean, it's like, it's kind of this thing. It's an easy thing to go for. So you kind of can dismiss it in a sense. Like, well.
Right. And it's not even personal. You learn to learn that it's a reflection on them. It's a projection of their feelings about themselves. I don't want to get too deep into that, but it's hardly ever about you. It's always about their insecurities and how they feel about themselves, and they're projecting their feelings onto you. That's how I always looked at it. And I was always the type of person, I really didn't care like what people thought of me. That's why I was able to sing Britney Spears in the middle of the hallway and not worry about whether people called me gay or not, or made fun of me for it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I like what I like. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to provide the content that I want to provide, and you're going to either like it or hate it. You can turn off the TV or whatever you're watching me on at any given time. Go ahead, do it. I don't care. I really don't care.
Do you get so let's go on to the looks thing. Do you get like, what are you? Do you get that? Are you this? Are you that? Do people know that you're Hispanic, or do they know that you're not?
No.
I feel they don't. So what kind of treatment do you kind of get? I mean, because I'm clearly black. You know, I'm multiracial, but I clearly get, and actually also as a side note, When I have longer hair and it's straight, I'm looked at more Latino. When I have a
Same.
big fro, I look more black. I mean, like it's a different. So for you, what is it like for you actually?
It's interesting out here. I've had people thought I was just black. I had people thought I was white and black, like mixed.
Oh
Um,
yeah, okay, I can see
that's
that.
the most out in Los Angeles. That's what I get the most. It's
I can see that.
black and white. Like they think everyone thinks I'm biracial. Or when my beard kind of gets long, I get Israeli, Iranian. I'll get Spanish.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And my hair's kind of long right now. That's why I'm wearing a hat.
a hat, folks.
So,
He's not showing the hair.
yeah, it also depends on the hair as well.
You grow a great beard. I give you points on that. You grow a great beard.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I admire that. I can do goatee, but beards, but you got good beard.
Thank you. So it depends. I mean, out in New York, everyone, like in the Bronx, everybody's Puerto Rican. So like you would assume I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
And I didn't know until I came out to California that there aren't many Puerto Ricans across the country at all. It's like hotspots. It's New York, maybe a little bit Chicago, and that's
Chicago. That's it. That's it.
That's it. Like we're nowhere.
There was none in San Francisco.
Yeah.
After 16 years there.
Yeah.
I ain't never run across another Puerto Rican in my life there.
Yeah.
It was crazy. In LA, I've met a few because we're spread out. My girl Edith does, she's in Signal Hill, which is near Long Beach. She does some Puerto Rican cooking. And then Mofongo's in North Hollywood. That's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, out in Los Angeles, no one even thinks to call me Puerto Rican because there's no Puerto Ricans anywhere. So I've gotten a bunch of times, like in Ubers, like, you should be an actor. You know, you're racially ambiguous. I think you get a lot of commercials. And I'm like, I guess. I don't know. But I don't act, so.
The mixed thing is, I never thought about friends, but now I can see what people think you were mixed out here.
Yeah, I get that a lot. And I've gotten black too, which surprised me because, well, my skin's not that dark.
Oh, hello, we're not that far off in color, not that far off.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. You know, I kind of see it a little bit. I mean, I get compared to Jesse Williams sometimes, who's black.
Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
So I kind of see it, but at the same time, that's not the go-to. I definitely see half white, half black. Though. I get.
And that's so weird. I mean, I see now you're saying it. I know what you are. So now I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know when I went to Dominican Republic, which I was very shocked that when I got there,
You look Dominican.
I looked just like that. No, seriously.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to leave because I went there. I speak Spanish. I went there and I was there for like a week. So once you're people, if you don't go travel, it's interesting because you go. I was immersed in it. Almost everyone spoke Spanish, no English. So after a while, I picked up everything. I looked like them. I was, whatever. And I was like, wow, I look like them? I had no idea.
You do. If you would have told me, if you didn't tell me you were Puerto Rican and you said, I have some Spanish blood in me, what do you think I am? I would have said Dominican. That would have been my guess.
I do get, on the East Coast, I get that. So it's kind of funny. I didn't, that's why my mother, we look like we're Dominicans. She's like, hush your mouth. But I love the Caribbean because I've been to the Caribbean like 13 times. I've been to like 13 different islands, and I just love it. It's so brown down there. It's brown. We're the majority down there. It's brown.
We are. Yeah.
I love it.
It's nice, right?
There's some, well, even parts of New York, going to New York, and even back in the day when I was with my family, and we were still with the Jamaicans, were down the street, and the West Indians were over here. It's like,
right.
New York is such a melting pot. It really, really,
I love it.
The Jews,
I love it.
Asian and Italians,
everything. Russian,
yes.
Dominican,
yes.
Haitian, like everything is in New York.
I do miss that. Yeah. California,
not really
not at all.
And it's California is actually more segregated than I expected it to be too.
I've had more racism out here than anywhere else.
Really?
Oh yeah. I've had more.
Wow.
I've traveled the whole country, around the world, and I tell people all the time. Sadly, most of my racism was in Northern California and here in Los Angeles.
Get out.
And 4 years ago, I had the famous incident where I was at the 7-Eleven in West Hollywood, and a SWAT team pulled rifles on me and told me.
No! Are you kidding me?
I was 45. I was 45 years old. Had a long day of shopping with my white friend, Mark Wood. He was there. So he saw everything that happened. We're standing. Okay, this part's kind of funny. I wanted a cherry pie, a Hostess cherry pie, and I said, I'm going to stand in line and get one.
Okay.
People in front of me, they're all white. I'm the only brown person in the store besides the male others behind the counter. I don't know what they were behind the counter. And all of a sudden, this SWAT team comes in. It's the middle of the day, rifles drawn, yelling at me to turn around, put your hands up, put your bags down.
Stop it.
And put me against the glass refrigerators, with all the stuff in there. As I looked up to the right, I had a rifle at my head, two rifles on my side, one on my back, and I saw a team go this way and a team go that way. And I wanted to pee on myself. I kept thinking to myself, this is how someone gets itchy finger and then shoots me in the head. I mean, I'm thinking that's it on my back.
Right.
They go through, look around, and maybe it was like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. It seemed like, a lifetime. Everybody else stand there. They didn't tell anybody else to do that. Just me.
Oh, it was just, okay. That was my next question. Okay.
Well, I was like this.
Yeah.
My bag's on the ground. I went shopping like this. Pressed against the thing. Rifle in my back. Rifle at my head. Rifles on the side. And then they go, okay, clear.
And they just left.
No. Before they left, I was like, what? So apparently a silent alarm went off. Behind the counters, they have silent alarms. Similarly, they have silent alarms. So a silent alarm was faulty, I guess, which they're going to get fined for because you have an alarm goes, I'll get fined.
Yeah.
But it went off. But they were racist because why didn't all of us put our hands up and turn around? Why the black guy?
Right. Wow.
And I had nightmares for like a month after that. I had nightmares. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I go, why me? Because you should have. Did you see us outside? Because I guess they were. I'm looking this way because I want my cherry pie. I'm looking over here to pay for it. There's this windows in front of the 7-Eleven. They were slowly creeping up. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I really was not paying attention.
Oh my god.
And then they busted in. But we told you we were looking at you, and you did. We actually they said we gestured you to turn around. I wasn't even looking your direction. No apology. Didn't care.
And they just left.
All white force.
Oh my god.
And I remember telling my ex-cop stepdad, and he was like, "Oh, it was a little excessive." Like, obviously, you're for the blue. Even though he's black, he's for the blue, obviously. So I couldn't get any sympathy out of him. But that was the most recent of a long line I've had of discrimination for my color.
That's crazy. I had experience like that, not like that with guns, but when I was 16, I was cutting off a train with my friend Todd. Todd's black, and he do-rag. just giving you a visual. And so we get off a train, and out of nowhere, these two cop cars come around, and it's like midnight, so we're the only two people at the train station. There's no cars. They come around and stop in the parking lot, get out the car with two canines, and start screaming at us like, "Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground!" And me and Todd are like, "Us?"
Us? Like me? Like
yeah, and they put us on the ground. I had canines barking at to this day, like I don't like being around German Shepherds just from that experience.
Wow.
Like, I had one literally two of them in my face, like barking in my face. And then like one guy he was trying to convince the other cop to arrest us, even though they had nothing on us. At the time, I didn't know my rights. I was only 16 years old, and I just started driving. So I gave him permission to search my dad's car. Like, just things that, like, now as an adult, I wouldn't have let them do because they could have planted shit. I don't know.
Right.
But, like, I'm just glad that, like, my friend didn't have anything on him because he does smoke marijuana. And if he had something on him, I have a record right now for nothing. I've never smoked a day in my life. I've never smoked. I never drank. And I would have a record right now if he had, like, a little bag of weed or something like that. But it's crazy. It's like, why did you assume that we had drugs? Like, we just got off of a freaking train. Like, what is wrong with you? And then they lied. They said we ran from them. Like, it was this whole thing of just, and that was my first time where I was like, wow. Like, I knew this stuff existed, but like, when it hits you personally, then it really opens your eyes.
Well, what's sad is I remember I was at AfterBuzz, and it was one of the nights. It was a heavy Black Hollywood Live night. Now, what AfterBuzz, when all those black folks were together, it got louder in the studio. Everything was like, brighter. And everything's kind of funny. And there was like 7 of us, all different ages, all different colors, but all, also sort of black. And we all recounted at least 2 police stories. And I remember walking away going, wow, that's amazing and sad.
Yeah. And I tell my white friends that all the time, like, not to try to make them feel guilty. Like, it's not to make you feel guilty. It's just so you're aware. All my black friends, we have stories. Like, I'm Hispanic. That's not the only story I have.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. That was the first story that.
Well, my younger brother, who's way lighter than I am, and they don't know what he is. They think he's Filipino or Puerto Rican, or they don't know what he is. He got once pulled over. He was walking by a cop car, and they said, "You walked by and didn't look at us."
It's like, why would I look at you?
And they put him on the ground.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, it's just like it's amazing. But here in Los Angeles,
that's crazy to me. I haven't experienced it out here, but the LAPD, obviously. I mean, we can go back to the Rodney King incident. I've had things where cops yelled at me, but to me, I'm a very rational person. So I won't chalk it to racism if
Yeah.
I don't think it's racism. And I don't think it's racism. I think it's just a guy being a dick. That's the only
Well, sometimes it is that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it is
Yeah.
just that. I mean,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes if you look black and it sound black and it is black and black,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I mean, but sometimes
I get
sometimes
it.
it is just people are being dicks. Sometimes that does happen too. I don't jump to racism all the time for things in general. I don't immediately go there. But
No, I don't either.
I know some do that.
Yeah, I don't pull the race card at all. I mean, because racism, it's hard to prove. That's something that's you can't prove what someone's thinking in their head, what they're feeling in their heart, and why they do what they do. It's really hard, especially a cop. And you know, like I understand it's hard being a cop. Like, let's be honest. Like you're in a lot of times you're in the slums of the country. Like you're fighting crime. You see drugs. You see a lot of things. So like on the other hand, like I'm not going to sit here and act like being a cop's not a hard job, because it is. I understand that it is, and you're always on guard. You go to work every day, and you know that you can lose your life at any given moment. I get that. Like I empathize with that, but at the same time, like there are some things which is
high stress job. I wouldn't want to do it, and then God bless you do it and do it well. I just wouldn't want to. Do it,
and I just wanted to add that point, because I feel like a lot of times when we share our experiences, I think a lot of cops take it personally as an attack on all police officers, and it's like, no, like you may be a good cop, but there is some systemic thing going on here that needs to be addressed.
It does.
Really,
I do know some.
what we're saying.
I will put a button on that too. I do know cops. And when my house was broken into 2 years ago, I had 2 great cops come and take it here. I'm here in Inglewood, so it's no good.
Right.
And they were good. They were good to me. They took care of me, and I actually walked in on the robbers. So I lucked out. Nothing happened. My life. The book will be coming out one day. Trust me. I got so many things.
Forget a book. We need a movie. Can I play a younger James Lott, please?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. Totally.
Yes. I just casted myself.
You did. Be careful. I'm a doer. Be careful. You may never be happening. But no, I walked in on the robbers as they were in my house. They were in the back. They were in my room, rummaging. You know what's so funny about this? My house, I live in Inglewood, so folks, you know Inglewood, it's South Central LA, and it's changing. It's changing. We have the stadiums coming in, and all. They started changing the form.
It's being gentrified. It's being gentrified.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't mind. The white folks are walking their dogs. It's fine.
Right.
So, but all my house has, they call them either security screens or bars on. So every window I have either has bars. They're from the 70s, but we got security screens because they're actually aesthetically better looking. They're not so like this bars. So the newer part of the house has the security screens, the other has the bars. One window, Josh. One window did not have bar security screen on it. And this was a window that's above, I'm looking at it right now. It's above my shower, high up. It's one of those skinny windows.
Yeah.
These MFers got crafty. So they had to climb my 10-foot fence to come over. First of all, before I have foliage on there, and I got bougainvillea everywhere now. But before that, they climbed in, took my trash can, and they brought the young man who was the skinniest and smallest, and had him break through my window and then fall into my shower, kill my whole shower curtain rod and everything with his muddy feet and everything, and that's how they opened the door, back door.
So what'd you do when you saw them?
So I have an alarm system. Actually, above all that, I have an alarm system.
Okay.
When I came home, because it just got dark, it was only like 5:15 in the evening, like not even that late. I just get home, I open the door, and the alarm's like, it's like doing this weird, it's not doing the deep, that I turn it off. It was like, it's like this weird noise. So I was so busy thinking, that's weird. Like I'm trying to turn it off. Then I heard movement. And I was like, my brother was like, JR, is that you? I didn't see his car. So I hear, excuse my language, I hear shit. Like, my heart dropped because I'm like, that's not my brother's voice. And I have a long house. So I'm like, oh my God. So then all of a sudden I hear movement back in my room, and I'm trying to get this back door right back here. They're trying to get out. And I come back here with a stick. I had a stick. I just took about it's not a stick. I had a big stick. I'm like, I'm gonna get you up. So I start running to the back, and I see the last guy slide through the door and run. I'm watching them run, and I have my cell phone. I call 911. I have 3 people just at my house. They broke into my house, and they got over the fence. So I'm very, like the cop said, you're very fortunate they didn't have guns on them.
That's what I was thinking.
I was gonna go out blazing. I was like, I got a stick, and I'm like, oh, you gotta take my stuff. And it felt like such a violation. And they were black.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off. And so turns out, here's the whole end of the story. They lived across the street from me. And they were these 3 young kids I see all the time. They're smiling, hi, mister, smile on my face all the time. And they went to jail for like a year. They were robbing houses during the day in our neighborhood.
Wow.
But they probably cased our house. And my schedule,
Yeah.
as you know, is all over the place. My brother's schedule, though, is very regimented. He leaves at this time. He comes at this time. And they probably
Right.
thought, well, we'll take a chance. I don't think the one guy's home. We know the one guy isn't home. Maybe this one isn't home, too. But they forget I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself. There are times I'm not home. It's like, so thank God I wasn't home when they did it either. I'm glad I wasn't sitting here and they just like were breaking in.
Did they
But
take anything?
no, because I got home. They must have just, the cops, they must have just broke in. They're trying to, things were open. They're trying to find stuff.
Got it.
I don't got nothing. Rob the rich people down the street. Don't rob, I don't got anything. But in all
Take these art supplies. Go.
Exactly. It's like, some of these paintings are kind of worse than me. But they didn't know that. But I was just like, but in all seriousness, I felt heartbroken because I'm thinking, we're one of the few Black families on the street, and you're robbing from us, really? I mean, you should be robbing, period. Okay, before anybody starts writing me letters, save your letters. I'm just saying, for me as a Black man, I'm always rooting for Black men and Black boys.
Right.
It's like, I mean, I almost want to talk to them and say, why are you doing this? Like, why do you feel so desperate? And why do you feel you want to steal from me? I'm one of you. Like, why would you want to come to me and steal?
Right.
It made me
Yeah.
sad. I mean, I was angry, but it made me sad. What about
I understand that.
It's
Oh,
just
man.
it's just too much. It's too much for me. Is there, okay, so are you doing any music?
Yeah, I'm actually working. I think I'm gonna release an album. It's time, in the sense
Hey.
where I've been producing so many songs. I have hundreds, and I'm not lying when I say this. Maybe like close to 100 of unreleased songs that I've never.
Okay, Prince. The
But I
Vault.
mean that I say that as like a producer, in the sense, like, you know how Calvin Harris will release a track and his
Right.
vocals aren't on it, but it's something like that. And so I've been working with my friend Amir, who's an R&B artist, and we're getting together maybe a few tracks that we want to find artists to do and cover, and then release it under my name. So we'll see. I mean, it's something I planned on doing. I started writing more maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago. For some reason, like, I just started, like, been going through a lot, and it was just easy for me to write. I don't know how it should happen, but for whatever reason, I became a decent songwriter out of nowhere. I wouldn't say I'm great, but
Same
like,
here, right? Same here. I don't know how it happened either,
yeah.
but it's kinda,
So I've been writing a little bit. I have ideas in my head that I want to do, and that's a goal of mine. So we'll see. I just gotta. That's the one thing I think. Like, I'm very confident in my hosting abilities. I'm very confident in a lot of things I do producing. When it comes to music, for whatever reason, I'm a little more insecure with releasing stuff, and that's something that I have to get over, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I've started to get more confident. I know what you mean. I'm so,
Yeah.
everything else, I'm fearless. I just put that out. I can do this. I can do podcasts in a second. I can talk about stuff.
Right.
But when I started doing music, it was, it was kind of a nerve-wracking thing. And I have 4 albums out. And so it was like, but it wasn't until this last album I put out that I felt confident. I was just like, I'm proud of this album. I worked hard on it for a year and a half. It was born out of my Bell's palsy and other things that were going on in my life. I have messages on it. I worked with some great producers. I got great background singers. And I mean, I was like, I felt this was the first one time I felt super like I want to get it out. All the
Right.
other ones were kind of nerve-wracking, like, oh, I put it out, oh, and push and pull of like, I'll put out one song and see what people say, and then like hide. That's kind of how I was.
And also, and you know this too, as a creative, like, it's hard to get support with anything. I mean, I learned early that, like, your friends are actually the people who are the last people to support you.
Yes.
And when you start creating, you think they're the first people who are going to hop on board, and you think they're going to help you through it. And that's not the case. And it's not shitting on my friend. I love my friends.
Yeah, same
I
here.
love them to death. But it's something that I had to learn early, and that's everybody. That is not anecdotal. Like, that is every creative. You can ask them, and I guarantee you, most of them, if not all of them, will say that they're disappointed in the way their friends respond to their material or lack of support.
I agree.
And so, and I think that's what hit me at first, because it was like I would put out music, and this is back in like college, and my friends didn't seem to care. So the thought of having someone who didn't know me listen to it petrified me. I was like, well, if my friends don't like it, why is anyone else going to like it?
Right.
So I think that's something I have to get over.
I decided a couple of years ago, because I wasn't disappointed too. Because at first my family would listen to my songs, and, oh my God, and give me feedback. I'm not doing it for them.
Right.
I had to kind of say I'm not doing it for them. If they hear a song of mine or they comment on something, great. But I'm doing it for the masses or for my audiences. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. That's what I'm doing. So if my family and friends actually like a song of mine or an album of mine or a book of mine, then that's great. It's gravy. But if they don't, I shouldn't be upset. So that's fine. I mean, what I do, I mean, they have people they like. They have their artists they like. Maybe I'm just not their cup of tea, whatever. It's fine. But I had to learn that at some level because I was upset at first too. Like, you didn't hear my new album? You didn't hear my new song? Like, they don't, like, they're like, oh, I mean, a lot of times it's not even about me. It's just like, I didn't hear it. They didn't.
Yeah, it's nothing personal. I did take it personal at first. And with hosting, like we could host it afterwards or whatever. And if our family and friends don't watch it, like there's people watching it. So in some sort of way, there's some type of validation that you're doing a good job or doing something. But with music, like you could literally put something on SoundCloud and get 3 plays. You know what I mean? And that's deflating. I mean, music, it takes a while to make a song. I know you're
It happened to me once. I just laugh like, oh my God.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's petrifying. Like you put all this work into a song, you can be very excited about it. You can like tell all your friends it's coming out, and then you can put it on SoundCloud, and it gets like 3 plays, and it's like, okay.
And it's so weird.
Why would I do that again?
It's so weird what hits because I remember a couple of years ago when I started coming out of the Bell's palsy, and I was saying, I'm gonna release a couple songs out because I recorded, God, I think like 35 songs, but I didn't put 35 songs on the album. I mean, I just sat down and we chose, which I think we put 18 on there or 19, which is still a lot, but it was like I was trying to tell a story. As you know, when you put an album together, I'm trying to tell a story. I'm trying to tell a journey. My last album was called Salty Clouds and Sunflower Dreams. The clouds were salty, Josh.
I bet
I was
you
bitter. I was bitter about some stuff.
no doubt in my mind.
Oh, it's good. But I'm a positive person, so that's why the Sunflower Dreams came in. But I wanted to tell a story. So, like you said, I had a bunch of songs that were done, produced, sitting there ready, but they didn't make it or whatever. But I put a few songs out first, and it was funny. The song that I thought this is going to hit, people are going to respond to it. They're going to love it. I can't wait to see who thinks about it. Literally got like 3 or 4 hits the first day. A throwaway song that we in the studio did. We did it in 20 minutes. Uploaded to SoundCloud, James. I think got like 200 spins like the first hour. I'm like,
how?
Why is that song?
Yeah,
The lyrics were like, I'm home or something. It was like something benign. Like it was like nothing big. And I was like, why is that song like that? Really? That's the song I'm relating to? Oh my God, I love that song. I'm like, you do? I'm like, I'm the artist going, you do? You like that song? Like, no, I'm proud of the song, folks, but I didn't put the other one. I really crafted the vocals and I
loved it. You crafted it.
Yes. I was like, proud. Yeah, bitches, you're gonna love this song. And I was like, they got lackluster returns.
Yeah.
I was like, and when I put the album out, because nowadays, you know, I this last album I put out 1 single, but I just put the album out, just shoot it at the same time. And I was interested in which songs people resonated with at first. There was one song I did on there called "I Guess I Just Have to," and apparently that song, I mean, it was like one of the last songs I recorded, and all of a sudden that song got a lot of hits, and people, I resonate with the song. They were telling me, which is a great validation. People tell you about your songs,
right?
But you just don't. But it's a metaphor for life, though. You can put a post up on Instagram about something super serious, get 5 likes. Put up my food post, and I get 10,000.
It's unbelievable too. Like I'm not really big on Instagram. I don't know if you noticed that, but I rarely post. I rarely post any pictures on Instagram, and I'll put a picture of like me and my friends, and it'll get like whatever amount of likes, and then I'll post a picture of me like. and
if you're listening to this, go to YouTube and see the post you just did.
You can, like, I mean, please do that, and then go to my Instagram and look at the most liked photo I have, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's like people just like weird things, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It's weird. I don't know. It goes against everything that is natural to me.
Yes.
But it's a game that we have to play if we're going to do music. If we're going to be hosts.
That leads into TikTok.
Yes. Tell me. You know what? Explain to me. A, how you got your followers, and B, what TikTok is. I know what it is, but I have a really hard time spending more than 5 seconds on that app without getting frustrated. Like, I can't do it because the first thing I see is like a girl, like the first video is always like some girl, like she's to the side, she's like this, and she's like this. Yeah. And then she does like some like cool dance.
Yes.
And then ends, and that's it. And then the next video is like another girl who's doing like
Yes. Yes.
and it's another viral dance, and
Yes.
it's everyone doing the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, why are we
I
repeating?
refuse to do that, but yes, that's what TikTok
What
is.
is going on? Why
Yes.
is everyone doing the same thing?
We're going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, so the basics for TikTok, folks. People actually ask me this all the time. TikTok is this video sharing app that's a minute long. So you can either do 15 seconds, the shortest, up to a minute. So you got to get your thoughts or whatever you want to do within the minute.
Okay.
And that's it. And it just goes out to all these people. So that's kind of the thing. So I actually wrote this down. I joined January 9th, 2020. Because James Lott Jr. is a person who likes to blanket himself and be everywhere. So I thought, well, TikTok's this new hot thing. You're too old, James. You shouldn't be on there. You're 50, blah, blah. I was like,
No,
well,
F that.
once you tell me that, James Lott Jr. is going to make it work.
That's what I'm saying.
So I've been on there, 3 months? Or 4 months, January, February, March, 4 months. I just saw this morning. And it's crazy. I'm sorry. I have over, my videos combined. Are you ready for this, Josh?
Yes, I'm logging on right now just to see.
I looked at my hashtag James Lott Jr.
Okay.
You look at the hashtag James Lott Jr. I'm gonna do it right now because I want to be up to date. I literally fell off my chair because people kept telling me, James, you're big on TikTok. I'm like, how do you know? Hashtag James Lott Jr. has over 1.3 million views.
Oh my God.
As of right now, and this is just from scratch, folks, I have 6,358 followers, and I have 284,000 likes. I put out a video an hour ago. So I was running low. Sorry. It only has 594 likes on it. But a video I put out 2 days ago is at 93,000 likes.
What?
A video I put out 2 weeks ago is at 628,000 likes. I have another video at 17,000 likes.
Oh
What is James Lott
God.
Jr. doing? Here, this is a tutorial for you guys. This is what I chose to do. I said, I'm not going to follow what everyone else is doing.
Right.
Because people think if I do that same dance video, I'll get 10,000 likes. Not always. I looked at the people who are very creative. I started doing my due diligence, started researching. I saw people that what they were doing. And I saw one person, just as an example, he posts a scripture every day. He's a God person. He reads a scripture every day. But he does it in interesting settings or different backgrounds. And he has like 1 million followers.
Okay.
He's not doing the dancing videos. He's not doing stuff. His stuff is faith-based. I thought he found a niche. That my thought was he found a niche and he tapped into it. Okay, so he's different. Got to stay out the pack. So I said, okay, James, create 3 series that are exclusively for TikTok. So I created how to get super organized in under a minute.
Ah, yes.
Organizing thing.
Yes.
My life coaching, which is called A Lot to Think About with 2 T's.
Nice. Nice.
I'm a spoken word artist, so a lot of spoken words.
That's awesome.
So I start with those 3 things. And okay, folks, a little glimpse of James Lott Jr. I have notepads for each thing that I do. I write down. That's how organized James Lott Jr. is. It's for my organizing. That's what I do.
Wow.
I'm very strategic. I said, okay, we're going to do this, James. You're going to post 1 of each, then post something that's not like those 3. So, James, what do you like? I love Star Wars. I'm left-handed. I'm a Taurus. I'm Gen X. Those are 4 great things to work with. I started looking up hashtags on TikTok, going, which ones are getting the big hashtags? Oh, left-handed has 1 billion hits. Okay, good. I'll mix with that in there. Then I started hashtagging all the ones that were popular that were within what I'm talking about in the video, and hashtagging my name, and hashtagging the For You page. That's where I'm at today. That's the best answer I can give people. That's where I am today.
And just to hit the nail on the point that I was making, this is the first video that comes up.
There you go. See, there you go. Do the
When I
dance.
open it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I turn this on, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what is... Like,
Right. Dumb. No, it's dumb. It's mindless, dumb stuff. But the video that I posted a couple days ago, my life coaching. See, there you go. Another one. See? It is. So the one I did it's at 93,000 hits or there right now and counting.
Okay.
It's called The One Sentence That Changed My Adult Life.
The one what?
The one sentence that
Sentence.
changed my whole adult life. I will tell you guys what it is. Brene Brown was on Oprah years ago, and she said this sentence that changed my whole life. Forgiveness is giving up that the past can be any different.
Interesting.
And that changed my life. So I posted that 2 days ago, and it's at almost at 100,000 views.
And it
People are
was just you,
resonating with them. They
it
love
was
it.
literally just you, like selfie style, like let me take
All
a
my
picture.
videos are me just talking into the screen. Brianna was like, Brianna Phipps, our friend, was like, James, all you do is talk. Kevin and Marie were like, why does James have so many? Like, what is he doing? It's like, he's just talking into the screen.
Kevin and Maria were asking that question?
Yes.
That surprises me.
Because
I mean, Kevin's the one who taught us to always have a niche.
I know.
That's Kevin. When you said that, I thought of Kevin.
Yeah, no, well, hello. He's like, I call my Hollywood Papa. He taught me that. And I was like, and so I'm taking that advice. He's like, we always said, whenever Kevin was like, James, I'm never amazed. I'm always amazed, but never surprised at what you get accomplished. You accomplish so much. Like you take, I said, I take opportunity. But that's the TikTok thing was so fun. So I just chose to just be me,
right,
and have these things. My Gen X stuff. I don't try too hard. It's like I have a record player. I actually posted a record player, and that got me 100,000 hits. I mean, like it's just like in the 70s. My 8-track player, I posted that it still works. Got me 60,000 hits. Like that was the thing. You know what the first one that went? Okay, so the first video of mine that did over 100,000 was there's all these murals in Los Angeles. You're not in LA. There's murals.
I'm on your page right now.
Yes.
I'm looking at you right
you
now.
See all the views, right?
Like, follow. Hit the follow button.
Hit the follow button, yes. But
There
see
we
the views. And it's funny. The first one I did was a Nipsey Hussle mural in Los Angeles. He's wearing a Laker jersey over here in Crenshaw and Florence.
Right.
I posted going, this is beautiful. I love seeing this. I knew Nipsey and everything. I know all that stuff. So I was like, this is great.
Right.
That went viral. I remember when it got to 100,000, I was like, I have 100,000 views on this mural.
That's overwhelming.
And people, and the bigger thing is the engagement. My notifications, I had to turn them off. They went crazy because everyone was like, it's great. It's not great. It should be Kobe. It should be this. Like it kept going and going and going.
It started a discussion. That's what it did.
That's what most of mine do. And so this latest one, it's at 623,000. I mean, if I get 1 million off this one thing, off this one video, I'm going to faint.
This is
when I saw, but you see all my numbers in the thousands, the hundreds, and 900.
Yeah, this is amazing.
But you see, it's just me talking. I ain't doing anything crazy. Just me talking. I do nothing crazy on there. I just talk.
Every video looks like it starts the same with just like you.
Yeah.
But that's also consistency though, because when people follow you, they see that and like, okay, this is what I'm getting myself into.
That's true. And I think, and also I do recognize this. I have a great voice. That's not to say I have an ego.
No, you do.
I mean,
you absolutely do.
I do. And so people like my voice. They tell me all the time. It's just they like hearing me talk. And so I've learned that when I turned 30 years old, I learned that my voice can get me into trouble and out of trouble. And it did both. Trust and believe.
That's amazing.
I got into some shenanigans, Josh, through my voice.
God, that's amazing.
And it's got me through stuff.
So do you think, all right, so as a host, I'm asking you this a genuine question. Do you think I should be on this and find a way? Because honestly, like, I don't like Instagram. I really don't like Instagram. Like, posting pictures is just not my personality. I don't like doing that. I feel very, like, I don't know. Like, I don't like putting myself out there like, hey, look at me. And I feel like TikTok is, not that that's what you're doing, but I feel like TikTok, you have to have some sort of, like, no filter, like, and not care and just put yourself out there. I'm not sure if I have that.
You're a sports guy. So it's a huge opportunity for you because there's a lot of sports on there.
Okay.
There are a lot of sports, people looking for sports stuff, sports related content. And even if you don't want to have you necessarily, you post, like I said, I posted murals and things. I mean, I posted a couple of Kobe things on there that I'm not really in it. You hear me talking, but I'm not really in it. And they got big hits too. So I was thinking, music, sports, you could possibly find a niche on there somewhere. You use the right hashtags. I always tell people, look at the hashtags, see what's hitting. If they say 500 million from the hashtag basketball, then you put that hashtag in your thing every single time. And that means people will see it. It'll pop up. And that's how you gain followers. That's what I found for me. So I think for you, there's an opportunity for you if you want to, sports wise, and you have your friends do TikToks with you, or friends do TikToks
Right.
for you, post on your page. It's only a minute, so you could do 15-second, 20-second, 30-second, minute. So I don't know. It's another platform. I mean, to me, I'm like, do everything. That's just me. But I know everybody's not into everything. So
Yeah, it's just for me. It feels exhausting
can
to
be.
learn.
Oh, it can be. It can be.
Yeah, I get it though. But listen, man, that's awesome. Congratulations on your
Thank
success.
you.
That's
Now,
amazing.
the only problem is that you can't monetize it yet. So what I've been doing, because I'm a
Ah.
junior, I've been bringing them to my YouTube channel. That's where monetization is. I'm bringing them to my podcast. That's where I make money. I bring them to my webinars. I'm like saying, if you want to know more, and I'm actually going to release a book based on my TikTok series. I'm going to take all the organizing tips and put them in a book. That's where I'll make my money. So I was like, go on TikTok, see this, but if you want more, go here. And that's kind of what I've had to do so far, because you can't really do anything. You can't make any money on there yet. So it's kind of like so I'm bringing them to other platforms. That's kind of what I'm doing. But again, you know my name. Again, like I said, people are coming up to me like, oh, you're that guy, you're the organizing guy, or you're the guy. It's very strange. I didn't, and I'm telling people, I'll be 51 in a month, literally a month from tomorrow. I'll be 51. I'm telling you this, you're never too old. It's what you make it.
Man, look at this, James Lott Jr., social media coach, baby, love it.
Well, I've been actually on several podcasts doing stuff
Love
like
it.
that. They're like, James, you're on everything. You do it all. I mean, I think for me, I learned a long time ago. I call it blanketing. I just feel like there are people that I look to almost every day, like a Gary Vee or whatever. I look for their content all the time because I like their content. So I feel like I want to be that person too. There are people out there who love my content, and so recently people have been loving my garden posts because they've been like, "Oh, we love your garden, so beautiful," and it's a nice thing what we're going through right now. So I'm trying to post more of my garden because people are telling me what they want to see. So I'm like, good, okay, I'll post more of my garden stuff. I made my loquat jam the other day, and like, oh, I'll tell you about that. And so I feel like I've always been a person who likes to be out there, where you may not know what the F I do, you may not even know me personally, but you've heard the name James Lott Jr., you've seen something from me. You've seen something from me.
Right. And your voice, to go back to your voice, it's very recognizable.
It is. People know my voice. And I'm getting recognized on the street now more, which is very strange.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's strange. I'm getting recognized from, and I don't know what it's going to be until they tell me, because I have so many different fan bases. It's been my music, my organizing, or the Hardys, or the Soap World, AfterBuzz, Black Hollywood Live. Like, I don't know. Right. I think one of my friends, who was it? Was it one of my friends goes, "You're the most famous, non-famous person in Hollywood. Like, you know all these people. They know who you are. You have a great reputation." I've been in business 13 years total. So, I mean, I've been around for a while, just, started from scratch.
Right.
Started from scratch, folks. And I think I want people to see you don't know who I am, but you'll know the name James Lott Jr. Once you hear it, you're going to know it.
And there's still so much room. Like, there's so much room for you to grow. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you haven't even reached your ceiling yet, which is remarkable.
Not at all.
Not even close.
And luckily for people like us, we can create from home. There's some people whose jobs you can't do it. A lot of my actor friends, I feel bad for them because they can't do their TV shows from home. They can't do their things from home. So, but for us, we can create music from home. My keyboard's right back here, my microphone. I can create music. I can create a video, an interview. I have a camera. I can do a video with my ring light. I can do a video. Like, I'm very fortunate I can still be creative and do that where others can't do that. So I love this. I love being in this business. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Me too.
You're the best, Josh. I'm so glad we did this. But we're going to do this in person. You're going to come to the studio. You're going to come down to after party.
Please. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
They'll love the people there, and you'll see the the behind the scenes stuff. But I mean, I want to do something with you while we're sitting or all sitting at home and have time with you. So thank you so much.
I'm finally glad we actually had this conversation, because you and I, we have conversations that last maybe like 10, 15 minutes. Like, we got to continue it later. And, we finally did.
Good. So tell folks.
Document this.
Yeah, they're good.
Go ahead.
Actually, no, but I want to do it too. Wait, I want to do it too. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a TikTok, James. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Let's see that come out.
I'm putting it on my Instagram story.
I love it. My Instagram. You'll be my Instagram story. People like my stories too for some reason. That's another one. I'm like, everybody's watching my story. Like, you didn't do anything yesterday. I'm like, I'm sorry. I never looked at below the people who watch. I never looked at it before, so I didn't know who people were watching it. I put them up there, and I started seeing 300 people watched my story. And
Yeah, you can see that. I stopped paying attention to that like a year
Yeah,
ago.
I didn't even.
That used to like. I mean, I don't post many stories at all to begin with.
Right.
Like if I do, like I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know, but people like my story. You'll be part of my story. So
Yeah.
tell folks where they can find you and your stuff. I want to promote you, so tell them what you can.
Oh wow, it's a lot. Okay, so personally, I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. That's on Instagram and Twitter. My podcast, The Dime with Josh Rodriguez, is on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, I should say,
Yes.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, anywhere you can find podcasts. It's called The Dime with Josh Rodriguez. Instagram and Twitter is at The Dime NBA. I produce a show called Certified Buckets for Uninterrupted. That's exclusively on Spotify. Just type in Certified Buckets. It'll come right up. It's a basketball podcast. And for now, that is everything that I'm tied to at the moment. So let's just keep it like that.
Very good. Very good. I love you, my friend.
I love you too, James. It was nice. We'll do this again in studio.
Oh, I'm James Lott Jr., folks. Where can you find me? At all social media platforms where James Lott Jr.'s are sold. At James Lott Jr. on social media platforms. That's right, kids. I made it very simple for you. And of course, this podcast, the original and this, will be on all streaming services, like he just said: Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker. It's everywhere. So when you're there, like, subscribe, comment. This is going to be also the video version will be on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media. While you're there, please subscribe. Everything is nice and neat on there. I have a whole playlist for every single show I've ever done. So everything is on there. Click a show, start watching, watch them and tell me what you think. But subscribe and like and comment. And I'll be doing more of these actually as we move along. But I want everyone to please connect with each other, stay safe and sane during this incredible time. We're going to get through this, but do what you can to be there for each other.